Now it's streaming. The computer like that can make anyone feel like a gamer right there, but there. That's totally better. There. Wherever that phone ran off to, he ran there. Like she did. Even this phone should be a female. Just like you. Also, maybe you should not do 30 FPS for that stream. It should just be 60 again. Looks like Mince Raft closed. Hey, look, it updated, that's why. Did that, well, the way that looks. Did ETHN see that? It was really fast. Looks like the first time it did that, it loaded instantly. But it still loaded that fast, which is really great. So now it should... Maybe resizing it might not be a good idea because it did something weird. Possibly, of course, because the TV is not a very good monitor to be using for a computer like it. Or it should just do that. Or check its settings. Yep, it's already set up. Also, the idea that because it's the TV, it gets to actually do real 1080p. Now it's time to see how it handles the shader graphics. Now the Earth won't work. There. Now it's time to crank. Hey, look. Point light options are there. Ooh. Maybe now point light will be there forever. Yay. Well, the new Blitz can finally enjoy his so-called shader graphics fully. So now, without further of doing anything, it's time to see how it handles the shader graphics, being the beefy computer that it is. We should actually do it with a normal kind of earthlit. Also, colors look kind of dull. Here's what version of the game it is. It's the normal version, if that's what he's wondering. Well, there it is in all of its gloriousness. That looks kind of weird. If it's a text pack, maybe. Oh, it is using text pack. Of course, it's those. It probably should not. Phew, that's why it was weird. Now there's the... Something don't look right. It's about the hair cross. Oh, and then maybe also the TV is using HDR. So, well, I guess the point light thing isn't there. Looks like in world it's not a thing. But there, that's how it's handling the shader graphics. And hey, look, it has the reflection setting all the way up, and it handles like looking at the water. It'd of course normally be too much for it. That competitor really is very, actually just very great. Meanwhile, it hurts when white keyboards still don't make it. Just so never add the coin to lights. Vertex is useless, so it doesn't need to be using it. The idea that it's a computer, it's not a console, so it's got all the benefits computers get to make use of. Like the rat-a-tat. And the exclusive things not seen with console, that game. Like that. Would be the dream to use it while well, having it all set up the way it should be. The idea that the shader graphics so it doesn't work with any text pack themselves. So maybe now I should see the preview version. Matter Vertex is useless. This is really weird. Of course, it says that it tries to copy resource packs to the preview version of the game. It says that YUR organization doesn't allow it to do it. It doesn't allow it to copy the items to that location or whatever it says. So maybe it's just not all that. It's just that compiler being the way it is or something. So still in that sense, just the laptop compilers are just better because they actually work. And still, the desktop compiler isn't that perfect. Well, can't really complain because the compiler just feels like it needs to be more taken care of and way more seriously instead of being careless and all that with it. And it seems like the preview version shouldn't just be made the primary version of the game anyways. So I guess there's nothing to say in complaints about that. The compiler's still great as it is. There's totally no need to complain about that in any way at all. If it works, it works. If they have anything at all in their globals, they can't use the shader graphics. It's so strict and really lame with that way. Oh, it looks though to be able to see all of those. And yet it didn't crash when selecting ray traced. So that totally means it's fine. Hey look, glowstone is making light. And it's the updated version of the game. And it's the normal version. Maybe they fixed it. Well, he was using Ertz and looked like it was still not fixed. Unless Ertz packs need updated it, and that's what it is. That doesn't look right, though. Lantern is very white. And those vines look like height maps. Just the item, though. But hey. And turn on the Ertz and the shader graphics. It's almost as if we can hear the competitor hum down there. While it's ray tracing just like you can do it, but it has to use a very, very, very loud and obnoxious fan for its life support. But in real world comparison, we can hear them ray tracing all they can. So in his game, they're not making light. However that is. So then, it sounds like... Well, it sounds like... Like that gotta be fully-ish. Who knows whether it's just the desktop competitor or the packs it's using, or the, well, a game being a certain version or whatever, who knows. But oh well, at least it seems that lights are making light as they should. And that's pretty good. So whatever pack it's using, maybe I should disable the pack it was having in globals and see if that's why it's doing it. And of course it's that. Oh, and speaking of that pack, maybe now with the option not limited, the resource pack textures and all that, maybe it wouldn't affect all that anymore. Therefore, maybe that pack can make use of its full resolution. Mercy. Nope, it still says that. Guess that doesn't do anything. It'll still do that. So keyboards are making light as they should. So there's the HD pack. So the desktop competitor now is the one that gets to use all that. RTX 5090. Sure feels like the RTX right there. It feels like the main RTX right there. And then, of course, look at that. He uses the same pack as it up there. And boom, they're not making a light. Just has to be a reason why. Maybe he should go there. Oh yeah, and maybe it should disable the global pack used now and see if it'll still do that. It feels really fast. There's there's no ray tracing. You gas. It's because the pack is not in that world now. Oh, if it was why. I should now apply a pack again to that world and see. It should be, well, that one. Now there's nothing in globals, but only the world's packs. It's time to put a bug spawner in here. A very specific object that spawns bugs. But that's the stuff right there. Desktop competitor. Ray tracing beef equals the ultimate gaming station right there. And that's it, using, well, 4K as its resolution, and it's not even using upscaling. There's no AI performance right there. Just pure raw RTX 5090 desktop GPU power right there. And still not making light, it's a it problem. Only torches plus lanterns make light. He is Steve. Although it's Steve looks like. He needs to be your inspiration right now. And since it can, it's time to see some vibrant visuals, graphics. Let's get to, because he's ruined. Still, again, point light things are there. They're point light. But that, compared to the ray tracing graphics, So of course it has to use the mouse to make the selections, because the controller doesn't work when it tries to do it. Ray tracing just look good. It always and will forever look good. Its raw performance without having to beef up its or buff up its performance settings. Not being tweaked and just being powerful out of the box. Can't turn on his shader graphics, even though he's not using any packs. Like we're starting a broken bug game or bug rot pack. The desktop competitor rules over laptops as it gets to use ERTX, and the ERTX gets to have light keyboards. Because now it's just an ERTX 5090 thing now. And of course the hum of it is getting lower. Not sure as effect to hear its sound. This game has to look like that. Yeah, all that's still there. Really great how that's been made. A very giant room with that. It's pretty wide-ish, and all of a sudden he cannot turn on those shinies there. He can only it sucked. Now it doesn't suck as much anymore. And only 50% sucks in laptops. Because now ERTX is ruined, and only ERTX 5090 or ERTX 50 series gets the benefit of light keyboards actually producing light. Or maybe it's just that game's fault. It's just something about the desktop competitor that actually passes. It gets a pass. Whatever that is. Oh, Dwyland doesn't really know why. But if it works, and that's all we should accept. It's working, and who knows why it's working, but since it's working, that's good. Maybe the ERTX files didn't get overwritten due to its strictness, which saved it. Who knows? Maybe that could be why. Beds look weird. Floors, shiny floors. Totally didn't notice that there. Didn't think of getting that shiny floor, and that is not ERTX. RTX 5090 looks like RTX 2080 Super, but the idea that they both are ray tracing the same way. The way that looks, that's not ERTX, and that's just the shader graphics, and that actually does glow like ERTX. Looks really similar. That's also very how-ish, how it's actually compatible with that pack. It doesn't make light, but it still glows. Yeah. Just a glowing keyboard with lightness. Meanwhile, when those RT cores are at work, making rays. Somebody say at work. Yep. That's the way it looks. Both of them, of course, see reflection in the ground. This will be great when those point lights get added to the game. And Y and X deferred blur shader pack gets updated. Works in the remote game and certainly the preview version. Even that glows, of course. Seeing whatever that looks like. Oh, it does not make point light. Yeah, it looks regular. Just so it's very ish, the idea that the vibrant visuals, or well, that game's ways of being able to use shader graphics somehow completely supports everything about ERTX. So it's like ERTX packs if they don't make ray traced lighting. Of course the glowy bits still glow though. RTX 5090 ray tracing. Looks like real life. Meanwhile, but that doesn't mean shader graphics sucks. It's still great. And it'll be very likable when it has point lights. The way that looks. Even just items dropped on the ground, it glows. Looks very... Yeah. Y'all know what it's time for, because... Looks like all those will turn black, but when stepping on a button, they'll look like that, so there's that one noise. But the reflections are all pixels. It's 98, so it doesn't really need to go up to 100. It's not very necessary. All the wood cuboids are like reflective the way that looks. And the idea that that's not ray tracing yet, Dwylan actually kind of was starting to believe it was. Means they did it good if Dwylan actually kind of believed it was ERTX. So if he wanted to riffle on those shade graphics being enjoyed, then he can do something. So if they made an Xmas tweet or something like that to make him do something like, well, that, and make shiny keyboards that glow, that's very much for the noob to enjoy. And of course, when it comes to seeing just how very impressive that competitor's performance is without upscaling, never forget that it's doing 4K and it still handles like that. 4K, and then its performance is meant for the 4K. Competitor yearns for 4K. And the Flint yearns for the steel. Whatever that even means. Those silly brain rot kids need to tell us what that even means. Not bad there, Morgan. Not bad there, Mr. Morgan. Ray tracing. You know, shader graphics looking very great for once, because also the idea that with a desktop competitor it has I/O cooling even means, but of course it has liquid cooling for its CPU. Luxury. The flint yearns for the steel, but whatever that even means. Your silly brain, your kids need to tell us what that even means. And then, yeah, that sounds very usual. The sound of it sounds very used to it. Like that looks. His face is turning blue. Turning Red, the movie. Very good, filmatic. Other than the point lights, there just be normal games lighting. Actually, it has to look better than the normal games, normal lighting, but still, it just has to look like that game. All the corners have a very triangle shape to shaded effect. It always looks like that game. Perhaps it's time to keep exploring. Of course, if both of them glow. So maybe everything that glows will glow to both of them. It's just really weird how in the very beginning of seeing Earth for the very first time ever, it used to actually make light, but now it doesn't make light anymore. It's really shiny. The zombie head looks kind of like the commando cube. Like that? Look. Jeez. But he sees like normal. Louis PNG file replaceable particle thing. I know it didn't disactivate. Oh, rats. It's like... Looks quite delicious for it being a shader graphics. We should just leave as if that will disactivate the cam thingy. Whoa! And maybe since it's not the competitor that's right now being the primary, maybe it doesn't really have to use the camera command. Wherever in which every one of those does it. It's of course the last two of those. Now the signs are they're blue. Textures are becoming weird. Whoa. The idea that shader graphics even allows it to glow, which really would not. And of course the way the reflections look, sure does look so like that. That screen space reflection looks exactly like Gridder 2, and the checker looks a little wider. Of course, there's a ways right there on the edge of the screen, just like that, being the only part that shows a reflection. Why the desktop compiler got sound kind of thick. That's making a hum. Yet the compiler is its own thing to rely on. There's no need to rely on anything else except for, well, it and it alone. It will do all the cooling that it needs to. Oh, and after all, the compiler does have automatic fan controllerness with its motherboard thingy. So of course that's a special and really good feature for it. Yeah, it looks like thermal vision. Thermal vision. Thermal glasses. Ray tracing. Looks like real life light. It looks like it's the painting blocks it. And then the way that looks. A very full scale room, and all those millions of rays of light that will bounce in every direction. Surely that compiler could absolutely handle a game like the future game and its path tracing is light. Resend the keyboard. What that looks like to him. Boy. If you want the more impressive looking shader graphics, then it's time to check out some preview edition. So we might as well just do that. Just glory days. Made a trash screenshot. The word screenshot should be the word bag. And that's what it should go in here. Your noodle spawn bugs. Maybe you likey. The way it sounds as its hum is getting lower pitch again. It's kind of chunky because of the idea that it's not the laptop competitor, it's desktop competitor. We never ever owned one before until now. It's time for some preview edition. It's very impressive. All the point lights. That's still exclusive to one type of Earthlet. Maybe it can always download packs that he over there uses. Hopefully it still works. It does. Fuck you. Looks like not again. There's that happening. It looks so bright and weird. Hopefully that's not the result of it updating. It was absolutely said to never ever update it. Hey, look in there, it still calls it in deferred rendering. Deferred render distance. Point lights look really good. That's what makes it likeable. When those have their very distinctive point light with the PBR effect, just like the ray tracing. And then maybe that goes for some weird reason, but 300 HZ is really smooth. But that point light though. It's time to go on a walkie. You have to take your horsey on some walkies. Also, volumetric fog. Performance doesn't look that bad. It's only 40 FPS. It's better than 30. That just clearly is the best shader pack there ever was, because cuboids make point light, which blends with the normal game's looking light, which made it look way better. Looks like it can't join. Maybe it's offline, of course. Because it was offline after all of that happening. So head thingy's too big. The shader graphics will always be known for how blue it looks. It has a very specific bluish green tint to everything. That doesn't look very smooth. It looks really, really lagsy. Ew. So it's just the preview version being weird, like it always was. Meanwhile, that shiny point light is that torch over there, and then on the wall, point light looks kind of blocky. Return its render distance all the way up to 96. And there's normal games light blended with a point light, and then that's when it looks very great. It's not works, and that's definitely still very much likeable. As if that was in the main game, then it would be quite the thing to always use. Hey look, 50 chunks says is recommended. Wherever anti-aliasing settings are at now. There it is. It's anti-aliasing. Needs all those torches, and he can have one little lantern in there. Oh, now Dwyland gets it, because that competitor used to do that with the preview version, doing things like using that to, of course, was really laggy. It's just doing the same thing as that, that's all. It's definitely not the competitor's fault, it's just that game. It's a preview version doing, well, deferred renderingness, which was, of course, known to become very lagsy at times like that. So that looks as the normal game's lighting, but then there's the point light that can be seen on different things, like their faces. Yeah, well, if it's just gonna be like that, maybe doesn't really need to be playing it. If it's the bad performing version. What it strives for is that ray tracing. It yearns for the ray tracing. It yearns for tracing rays of light in all directions. It's like a blender animation while it does it in real time. You should get a load of that point light. shows normal game light and then poised light over top of it. Gives it the colored light it needs. It's as bright as the sun. This weirdo light bleeds through things. That's where that compiler's most happy. Ray tracing graphics. And it also gets to actually handle it. That doesn't look like handling it. Ew. This is affected by it too. Gas. The preview version also is all weird. So it just kind of feels like now there's no need to be playing a desktop compiler with that game. Oh, I guess the dream has been lived for it in real time, even recorded live in a video. And now it doesn't, well, keyboards don't emit light anymore. Textures are being very weird. Rock edition is fixing. The preview edition gets to use the point lights and the ray tracing that actually functions as it should. The candle. If it's as dark as it is, then it doesn't emit much of that game-ish looking light. Hehe. Here's another thing, just like when there was the wood tree monster. So plops have to spawn 50 million of the happy gaslit now in creative mode and feed snowballs to 50 million of them in survival mode. Usually they'll do it, because that game is that great. In the candle, and even fungus make point light. Even a pixel, it's still is yummy point light with colored light. Looks like they all make shadows. That is until it goes. And then we looked in build battle when there was the light. And of course it was indeed point light. Gamad had point light.